Every morning in the jungle brings new tests of survival. As the golden light penetrates the canopy, it reveals a layered world where life means constant vigilance.
Here, high in the canopy, survival is not granted by strength, but by the ability to remain perfectly still, perfectly unseen.
It is often the smallest creatures that carry the most powerful defenses, hidden within this brilliant crimson skin. Over millions of years, ancient species have perfected the art of jungle survival, a delicate balance of instinct and adaptation. The water here truly is the beating heart of this wilderness, sustaining the incredible life you see all around us. Beneath the surface lies a hidden world of constant movement and ancient rhythms, the muffled thunder of the falls resonating through the water. Cold-blooded hunters must harvest the sun's energy before the day's challenges begin.
Even the most peaceful creatures must remain watchful in a forest full of hidden eyes.
Patience is the deadliest weapon in these jungle waters. Prey animals share an invisible communication network that signals danger in an instant. For the alpha, fleeing is not an option. Defense means confronting the danger directly, echoing her purpose with every deliberate step.
Every predator must weigh the cost of confrontation against the promise of a meal.
The capybara stands firm, and the caiman decides against confrontation. Indeed, wisdom often means choosing to fight another.
Courage flows through every creature when family is at stake. The sky above the jungle holds its own spectacular stories of survival. Flying in synchronized pairs, these intelligent birds mate for life, facing every challenge together across the endless canopy. In the heart of the rainforest, deep bonds strengthen the will to survive. These macaws, through tender precision, even the sky holds its own apex hunters. The macaws suddenly falling silent in instinctive recognition. How few creatures in the jungle command such absolute authority in the canopy realm. Survival often depends on knowing exactly when to leave. The jungle is defined by these moments. When the golden light fades and the rains arrive, the transformation is absolute. Every drop of rain sustains countless lives in this thriving ecosystem. As the elements turn harsh, social bonds provide essential warmth and security. Huddled together beneath the canopy, this family endures the storm.
A mother's embrace is the safest place in the entire forest.
These seasonal rains reshape the very fabric of the forest, testing the resilience of every creature that calls this valley home. Beneath the surface, ancient fish continue their timeless patrol, undisturbed by the storms above. Here, the riverbed holds its own hidden defenders, armed with surprising weapons. Silvery fish dart between these submerged tree roots. These highly social hunters fear almost nothing in their aquatic domain, their powerful tails propelling them against the strengthening current. Teamwork allows these remarkable animals to thrive where others struggle. Emerging renewed from the storm, the jungle breathes again. As the clouds part, the chorus returns, one species at a time.
Even the most delicate forest dwellers possess remarkable resilience, weathering the storm before taking flight again.
As it floats through the shafts of sunlight, we observe how beauty itself can be a form of defense deep within the forest. How every flash of color attracts attention from both admirers and opportunists. Specialized senses, particularly the heat-sensing pits along the jaw, transform these serpents into perfect ambush hunters. In the canopy, life means navigating constant hidden dangers. The monkey's playful movements belie the tension of the scene. Constant awareness separates those who survive from those who do not. One warning call can alert the entire forest community to hidden danger, the urgent cries echoing through the canopy. In a display of unity, the monkeys show how prey animals discover the extraordinary courage that comes from standing together. Even formidable predators understand when the odds have shifted, the monkey troop gradually quieting as the threat passes.
Leadership in the wild means placing oneself between danger and family without hesitation.
Each confrontation in the jungle ripples outward, affecting countless lives beyond what any eye can see. How cooperation transforms these pig-like creatures into a force few predators dare challenge.
Unity provides a protection that individual strength alone cannot match.
A single scent can change everything in the jungle. The herd freezes, waiting for the sign.
Emerging from the shadows, the jaguar, the America's greatest cat, commands respect from every creature in its domain. This is no ordinary prey. The herd's collective courage has transformed these potential victims into formidable opponents. How great predators study their quarry with patience accumulated over countless generations. Here we see a brave individual stepping forward. Sometimes, a single act of defiance can turn the tide of an entire confrontation. The mathematics of survival dictate that even apex predators must choose their battles wisely, calculating risk against reward. The jaguar knows that true power lies not in fighting every battle, but in the wisdom of knowing which ones to walk away from.
Today's courage becomes tomorrow's legend in the collective memory of the forest.
Water connects every story in the jungle, flowing from one chapter to the next.
Some creatures survive by becoming almost invisible. This delicate amphibian remains perfectly still in its transparent perfection.
Here we see how life persists in forms almost too delicate to believe, yet resilient enough to endure.
Some of the forest's most impressive defenders measure less than a centimeter.
These tiny farmers cultivate their own food in underground gardens older than human civilization. The jungle operates on every level simultaneously, each layer holding its own community, its own dramas, its own survivors. Life in the highest branches demands absolute confidence in every movement, their joyful energy infectious even in this wild place.
Even in a life of constant survival challenges, there are moments of pure discovery and wonder.
How the canopy holds dangers as slender and subtle as its beauties, the monkey's instincts yet to register the threat.
The line between life and death in the jungle is often thinner than a single heartbeat.
Failed attempts teach predators as much as successes, each encounter sharpening skills on both sides of the eternal dance.
As the afternoon light shifts to golden hour, the jungle's mood transforms. Creatures of the day prepare for rest. Dusk summons the forest's most secretive creatures from their daytime refuges, the tapper's footfalls soft on damp earth. Species that have survived since the ice ages carry deep wisdom in their unhurried movements. Waterholes become gathering places as darkness approaches, drawing life from every corner of the surrounding forest. How the day's final hours offer rich hunting opportunities before darkness transforms the rules of survival.
The kingfisher dives with precision, emerging with a small fish. Water droplets fall from its feathers.
How the night shift awakens as the day shift retreats, the forest transferring guardianship between two worlds. How some creatures wear their defenses on the outside, turning their bodies into living fortresses, the scratch of claws against soil.
Senses we can only imagine guide the forest's nocturnal foragers to this hidden bounty. Persistence rewards those willing to dig deeper than others.
Night in the jungle is not an ending, but a transformation. A different world emerges under moon and stars. How the great forest never truly sleeps. It simply changes guardians, the chorus of nocturnal insects swelling. Here, Even in deepest darkness, the jungle creates its own light. The night canopy belongs to creatures rarely seen by daylight eyes, the kinkajou reaching for ripe fruit with delicate paws. Some forest dwellers have evolved to claim the night as their exclusive domain, thriving in the cool darkness. Beauty walks the forest at every hour for those with eyes to see. The night hunter possesses senses far beyond human comprehension. Its silent presence commands the dark realm. Silence itself becomes a weapon in the claws of those who have mastered the night, a distant mouse rustling in leaf litter far below. Some strikes are over before the victim even knows danger approached. The eternal balance between predator and prey continues through darkness as it does through daylight, the owl settling to consume its meal. Rivers become silver roads through the sleeping forest, guiding creatures between their midnight destinations. A true giant of these waters, this ancient reptile has grown so large that almost nothing in its domain poses a threat. These living fossils have watched the world change for millions of years, recording everything, forgetting nothing. Beneath the placid surface exists power capable of explosive violence. Yet tonight, the giant chooses peace. The river connects all stories, flowing from the mountains to the sea, carrying the secrets of every creature that drinks from its waters. The great cat now hunts on its own terms, in its own time, the moon revealing the rosettes of its magnificent coat. How some creatures are so perfectly adapted to their world that every movement becomes art, the big cat pausing to drink from the silver river. In the jaguar's gaze lies the distilled essence of everything wild and free. How the night reveals opportunities invisible during daylight hours, the jaguar melting into shadows with supernatural grace. The hunt is a conversation between predator and prey, written in silence and instinct. Even the most vigilant creatures have moments of vulnerability that experienced hunters learn to exploit. Some awakenings come too late, the forest's ancient rhythm of predator and prey playing out beneath silent stars. Every escape is earned in the jungle. Failure and success are both simply parts of the eternal cycle, opportunities waiting in the night. Here in the jungle, time is measured not in hours, but in the breathing of its creatures and the turning of the earth. Dawn approaches like a whispered promise, each species greeting the light in its own time, its own voice. Some creatures greet the sunrise with such explosive vitality, they seem to be made of light itself. The forest provides sustenance for all who know where to look. Each sunrise brings new challenges, new opportunities, new chapters in the endless story of the jungle. From the smallest insect to the greatest predator, every creature in this magnificent wilderness.
Some trees become entire worlds, supporting more life than can be counted.
The howler's morning roar announces territory and identity to everyone within earshot. The deep bass vibrations, voice alone can win battles before they begin, establishing order without bloodshed. The call echoing across valleys.
Not every predator poses a threat to every prey, the margay specializing in smaller quarry among the branches.
Specialization allows many species to coexist by dividing the forest into countless niches, each creature finding its own way to survive.
The margay's world is vertical, its hunting grounds the three-dimensional maze of branches and vines, morning light dappling its spotted coat. Even canopy specialists must sometimes descend to the ground, where different rules and different dangers apply. Life here clings to every surface, creating elaborate gardens in the sky that never touch the ground. How some creatures complete their entire life cycle without ever touching the forest floor, the mother frog returning periodically to deposit unfertilized eggs for her young to eat. Every tree in the jungle is a universe unto itself, supporting generations of life in its branches.
Family bonds in the forest run as deep as any found in nature, mutual grooming reinforcing connections between individuals.
The lessons of survival are passed down through generations of patient teaching. Here, the father pauses, allowing how evolution has carved unique paths for each species, ensuring that the forest's bounty feeds all who have adapted to claim it. Opportunity draws predators just as it draws prey, the forest's constant equation of risk and reward playing out on every level. How trust in the sentinel's warning is absolute and instant, the difference between life and death measured in fractions of seconds, the tamarinds disappearing into thick foliage. Experienced hunters learn patience. Another opportunity will come, for the forest provides for those who persist. The rainforest at full day represents life at its most abundant, its most competitive, and its most magnificent. How some birds move through the forest like living artworks, every feather a masterpiece of natural design. How patience transforms into action in the space between heartbeats, the bird's bill spearing into water and emerging with a small fish.
Every meal earned in the wild represents a small victory in the endless campaign for survival.
Some of the forest's most specialized hunters pursue prey invisible to larger predators, the anteater's enormous claws folding under as it walks.
Evolution crafts tools of extraordinary precision over millions of years.
How no fortress is impregnable when the right key has been forged by time, the anteater's long, sticky tongue flickering into the breach to harvest thousands of insects. How the giant anteater consumes tens of thousands of insects daily yet never depletes a colony entirely, ensuring future harvests. Different species solving similar problems with strikingly different approaches, each finding its own unique path to abundance in this vibrant ecosystem. The anteater family has diversified to exploit every insect niche from forest floor to canopy, leaving no resource. The jungle's rivers slow and spread in places, creating wetlands where different communities of life gather.
These aerial hunters have patrolled the wetlands since before the dinosaurs. Their design is so perfect, it has barely changed.
The world's heaviest snake moves through water with a grace that belies its massive size, its muscular body undulating with hypnotic rhythm.
How mastery of the boundary between water and air gives this great serpent dominion over two worlds.
Ambush predators measure distance and opportunity with the precision of mathematicians.
Prey animals develop a seventh sense for danger, an awareness that operates entirely below conscious thought. Survival sometimes depends on listening to whispers of warning that have no clear source. The capybara moved away from the bank to join its herd. Life in the wild oscillates between moments of danger and hours of peace, both equally part of the natural rhythm. How stillness itself becomes a hunting strategy, the egret's patience as formidable as any predator's speed, the bird remaining motionless for long minutes.
Some of nature's most effective hunters achieve their goals through stillness rather than chase.
The forest's rivers eventually meet the sea, carrying freshwater life toward saltwater worlds. Mangroves create forests that grow in saltwater, their tangled roots providing nurseries for countless marine species. These brackish waters serve as a cradle for species that will one day roam the open ocean.
Even the smallest creatures in the mangrove community carry formidable defenses. The crab retreats into a crevice as the camera passes.
The predators of the reef visit the mangrove nursery, knowing that where small fish gather, larger hunters follow. Some creatures seem to fly rather than swim. The eagle ray's movement is pure poetry against the sandy bottom.
The waters beyond the forest hold their own societies of remarkable creatures.
These marine reptiles have navigated Earth's oceans for over 100 million years, returning always to the waters of their birth.
Even creatures perfectly adapted to the water must maintain their connection with the air above.
Where the forest meets the ocean, life multiplies in abundance and diversity that exceeds either realm alone.
How rivers connect ocean to forest, carrying nutrients upstream as well as down, binding all waters into one living system. The deeper into the forest the river flows, the more secretive its inhabitants become. Here, a giant river.
These highly social creatures maintain constant communication, their vocalizations creating a complex language of family bonds.
Here, cooperation truly amplifies the abilities of every member. The success is shared among all. At rest, the apex predator radiates a calm power. It is the certainty of those who have nothing to fear. How even the forest's most formidable creatures require moments of complete vulnerability. Sleep, the great equalizer of all living things. How the privilege of witnessing wild animals at rest reminds us that they are not merely survivors, but beings with their own inner lives and experiences. Ancient species move through these waters largely unchanged since the time of the dinosaurs, living bridges to Earth's distant past. How each turtle carries an entire community on its back, smaller creatures finding transport and shelter, small fish swimming in the turtle's wake. The afternoon light transforms the jungle into a cathedral of green and gold. The day's final hours are rich. The forest is a world of layers, each experiencing the day differently. The highest branches enjoying hours of sun that the forest floor never sees. How from this height the eagle sees the forest not as individual trees, but as a single living entity. Its keen eyes, how few creatures in any forest on Earth command such absolute mastery of the aerial realm. The presence of an apex predator sends ripples of awareness through entire communities, the monkeys moving lower into protective cover.
How language in the wild takes many forms, each species developing systems of communication as sophisticated as their needs require.
Not every flight is a hunt. Not every shadow brings death. Predators too have their peaceful moments. The stellar sea eagles. As elevation changes, so does the forest community. New species appearing as conditions shift. Mist begins. Cloud forests exist in perpetual moisture, their inhabitants adapted to a world where the clouds themselves become part of the landscape. How few birds in the world match the quetzal for sheer spectacular beauty. How the quetzal was considered sacred by ancient peoples who understood that some creatures represent nature's most extraordinary expressions. The quetzal's dependence on wild avocados makes it a gardener of the forest, spreading seeds wherever it feeds. The mountains hold their own great mammals, creatures adapted to thinner air and cooler nights. The bear beginning to forage among bromeliads. How bears bring a different energy to the forest, their strength allowing them to access food sources unavailable to other creatures. Despite their fearsome reputation, these bears feed primarily on plants, their role in the ecosystem more the gardener than predator. Each day in the wild ends with a sunset that has never happened before and will never happen again. The polar wilderness at night connects Earth to the cosmos in ways that daylight obscures, turning the forest below into a dark sea beneath brilliant stars. How night flows downhill like water, darkness reaching every valley, every river, every hidden corner of the great forest. How light becomes language in the darkness, each flash a word in a conversation of attraction and response. Some of nature's most magical displays occur in complete darkness, visible only to those present to witness them. The forest at night reveals secrets that daylight hides, a hidden world existing parallel to the one we see by the sun. The smaller cats of the forest hunt between the territories of their larger relatives, carving their own path to survival. The ocelot continues how water sources become focal points of nocturnal activity, predators and prey alike drawn by thirst under cover. Moments of peace are as essential to wild lives as moments of struggle. The canopy's night shift operates with as much energy and purpose as the day, simply under a different light. Evolution has shaped these primates for a life lived entirely in darkness. Their night vision is among the best in the animal kingdom. Looking into the eyes of a wild creature is to glimpse a consciousness as complete and valid as our own, the monkey continuing its foraging with unhurried grace. The cycle continues endlessly, one shift replacing another. The forest is never still, never silent, never truly at rest. Night begins its retreat, the creatures of darkness seeking their refuges as the creatures of light prepare to emerge. Each sunrise over the jungle is a miracle that has occurred every day for millions of years, yet remains eternally new. While the ancient trees have witnessed more sunrises than any other living beings, their patient presence the foundation upon which all forest life depends.
How these intelligent birds embody the spirit of the wild, their freedom written in every wingbeat, their bonds visible in every synchronized movement.
The river at dawn holds particular magic, the meeting of water and light creating a world of reflections and possibility, the otters sliding into the water.
How play and purpose blend seamlessly in the lives of these remarkable animals, every chase, both practice and performance.
Success is sweeter when shared. As the otters gather to eat, their family bonds are strengthened by this cooperative effort. How the river draws all life to its banks, predator and prey, hunter and hunted, all sharing the same essential resource. How the great cat measures the world with a gaze that misses nothing, every movement, every scent, every sound registered and assessed.
Apex predators move differently. Their power is visible in every step. The forest simply parts before the jaguar's silent passage.
How the forest absorbs all stories, all victories and deletes, all births and deaths, weaving them. This magnificent wilderness, with all its drama and beauty, its predators and prey, its courage and survival,